Thank you, President Taylor, and good morning, everyone. Because we are long-term investors, we typically don't focus too intently on the events of any given day or week. But even so, I want to briefly comment on the events of the past 2 weeks, where we've seen global financial markets respond swiftly and overall negatively to policy decisions made by the US government. It's the kind of market disruption that has impacts for investors, small and large, including CalPERS. But before I go any further, let me speak directly to our CalPERS retirees and their beneficiaries. Your pension is safe. Even in challenging times, CalPERS has more than enough liquidity to make the monthly payments that you rely upon. The promise made to you and your family does remain intact. What we are focused on is the potential long-term impact. It may not be felt overnight, but it's no less serious. In just 76 days, we will close the books on the current fiscal year. Our standing policy is to earn an investment return of at least 6.8% over the previous 12 months. Meeting that standard is important. It's the foundation of contribution rates set for our employer partners, local governments, schools, and state government, and for PEPRA members, it impacts your contributions as well. We've worked hard in recent years to reduce the system's unfunded liability, the gap between assets and obligations, both now and into the future. Even in the best of times, it can be challenging to meet expectations. Investors always assume some level of risk, and global economies expand or contract for a variety of reasons. But we must prepare for the possibility that current events here in the US could have a serious impact on our investment returns as of June 30th and into the fiscal year that begins after that. On the day before the tariffs went into effect, our estimated market value was almost $532 billion. Within a week's time, the value dropped by some $26 billion. Recent events have moved the numbers around a bit more, but the overall trend during all of this has been one of decline. Almost every day has brought a new development in the market's reaction to the president's tariffs. There have been several different explanations for what the tariffs are trying to achieve and varying guidance on their size and their scope. But our investment team believes that the larger and more widespread these tariffs are, the more drag there may be on GDP and more increase in prices. And it feels as though a recession is now a real risk for the economy, posing substantial challenges. This isn't a time to panic. I hope you understand that I'm being reassuring in this way, but it is also a time to play to our strengths, and an essential strength is the diversification of the portfolio. Our mandate, which is enshrined in the California Constitution, is a diverse portfolio, ensuring that we can weather a variety of financial storms. The exposure to higher risk assets is complemented, for example, by investments in other assets that are more defensive. A diversified approach is essential to preserving capital and maintaining stability through market cycles. It's also why our critics are wrong when in more steady times they say that CalPERS should only invest in the S&P 500. We will remain focused on actively monitoring market developments and evaluating both risks and opportunities across the fund. And as events unfold, we will continue to communicate to our members, our employers, and stakeholders the importance, of patient and thoughtful investing. Doing that means keeping our eyes on the road ahead as we navigate all of the twists and turns of the current time. So let me focus a bit on an agenda item that is on your meeting agenda today. And so before I close, I do want to briefly draw the board's attention to another item, one that's coming up again soon on this morning's agenda, and that's the review of our work to meet the objectives of the CalPERS framework regarding diversity, equity, and inclusion. Our team will provide details of their work in building a more successful organization by leveraging our unique strengths toward achieving a common goal of meeting our members' expectations for a secure retirement and quality health care. We are making real progress, and I look forward to our team's presentation detailing those accomplishments. So President Taylor, that does conclude my remarks, and as always, I'm happy to answer any questions.